What if the world we live in, our modern culture, our values, our daily stressors, has made illness and unhappiness the norm rather than the exception? What if everything we've been told about what it means to be normal is wrong? In the myth of normal trauma, illness and healing in a toxic culture, Dr. Gabor Maté, with his son Daniel Maté, presents a powerful, transformative exploration of how trauma, stress, and societal dysfunction shape not only our minds, but also our physical bodies. This comprehensive guide challenges the conventional ideas of health and illness, offering both deep insights and hopeful paths toward healing. Part I: The Illusion of Normalcy. The book opens with the assertion that our society has normalized dysfunction. Chronic stress, burnout, addiction, anxiety, depression, and autoimmune diseases are widespread. Rather than being abnormal, these are logical outcomes of living in a culture that disconnects us from ourselves, others, and nature. Key concept: normal is a myth. What's common is not necessarily healthy. The mind and body are inseparable. Emotional stress literally shapes physical illness. Trauma is universal, not just something that happens to a select few. Important message: in a toxic environment, dysfunction is the default. To heal, we must first recognize the culture we live in as the source of much distress. Part II: Trauma, a hidden epidemic. Trauma, according to Maté, is not just about extreme events like war or abuse. It's about any situation where one is overwhelmed and unable to process the pain. Often this happens in childhood but can be ongoing throughout life. Key points: trauma is disconnection from oneself, from emotions, from others. Many illnesses are the body's manifestation of unhealed trauma. The early environment shapes how the brain and immune system develop. Impact on health: autoimmune diseases, chronic fatigue, even cancer have links to stress and emotional repression. People-pleasing, perfectionism, and self-suppression are survival strategies that can become pathological. Part III: The Cost of Suppressed Emotions. Maté shows how society teaches us to suppress emotions like anger, sadness, and fear. This suppression becomes internalized as disease. Key lessons: repressed anger is a common trait in people with autoimmune disorders. Authenticity is sacrificed for attachment. Children learn to disconnect from their feelings to preserve relationships. The nervous system bears the burden of unexpressed emotion. Takeaway: to heal, we must relearn how to feel safely. Part IV: Society as a Source of Illness. Maté critiques how capitalist, competitive societies create chronic stress. Individualism, materialism, and disconnection from community are all culprits. Core ideas: we live in a trauma-generating culture. The workplace, schools, and even healthcare systems often reinforce stress rather than alleviate it. Economic inequality is linked to poor health outcomes. Healing must address not just personal behavior, but also systemic injustice, oppression, and inequality. Part V: The Mind-Body Connection. One of Maté's core arguments is that the mind and body are not separate. Emotions are biological events. Our stories, beliefs, and unprocessed pain manifest in physical symptoms. Evidence: studies link childhood adversity to higher rates of heart disease, cancer, and autoimmune illness. The immune system and nervous system are directly influenced by emotional states. Message for healing: to heal the body, we must also heal the heart and mind. Part VI: Addiction and the Search for Connection. Maté, known for his work with people with addictions, reframes addiction not as a moral failing, but as an attempt to soothe unbearable pain. Key messages: addiction is rooted in trauma. The opposite of addiction is not sobriety, but connection. How to heal: compassionate understanding rather than punishment. Helping people reconnect with their authentic selves. Part VII: Childhood, Attachment, and Adult Illness. The book explains how childhood experiences, especially around attachment and emotional safety, shape lifelong health. Key lessons: secure attachment creates resilience. Disconnection from caregivers leads to disconnection from oneself. Many adults carry unresolved childhood trauma that manifests as illness. Steps toward healing: reparenting oneself, therapy, safe relationships, and self-compassion. Part VII: Healing Practices, a Path Forward. Maté offers hope. Healing is always possible, even after decades of trauma and illness. Healing principles. Self-awareness, noticing how you feel, how you react. Self-compassion, treating yourself with kindness rather than criticism. Authenticity, living in alignment with your true feelings and values. Practical tools. Mindfulness and meditation. Somatic body-based therapies. Honest, open relationships. Part IX, a new definition of health. Health is not the absence of disease, it's the presence of wholeness. The insight. Integration of mind, body, emotions, and relationships is essential. Social connection, meaning, and love are as vital as nutrition and exercise. The new health paradigm. Moving from treating symptoms to addressing root causes. Healing as a lifelong journey, not a destination. Part X, collective healing and cultural change. True healing, Maté insists, requires systemic change. Ideas for change. Compassionate communities. Trauma-informed healthcare, education, and workplaces. Economic and social reforms to reduce inequality and stress. Each of us can be kinder to ourselves and others. Advocate for policies that support mental and physical health. Break generational cycles of trauma. Conclusion, the hope beyond the myths. The myth of normal is a call to awaken, to see that what we've been taught to accept as normal is often harmful and that we each have the power to heal, to connect and to live more authentic, joyful lives. At Grow Reads, we believe knowledge can transform lives. If you found value in this deep dive, please like, share, and subscribe for more powerful summaries that help you grow, heal, and thrive.